Now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had a Zoom call today with a bipartisan group of U.S. politicians. And CBC News senior correspondent Sasha Petrusik joins us now with more on that. So, Sasha, what happened during that call?
Well, it was basically what was described as a desperate plea for help from the United States. In particular, he was asking for two things. One is that, again, he repeated his call for a no-fly zone over Ukraine, which he sees as the only way that Ukraine can fight back against Soviet era, I guess, planes, as well as Russian era planes that have been inundating the skies over Ukraine and have essentially been taking over. The other thing that he asked for is actually more of these sorts of planes themselves so that Ukraine can fly them and fight back against the Russian Air Force. The Americans did say that they were very sympathetic to this. In fact, the bipartisan commission, the bipartisan group of senators said that they wanted to see this happen. And even the Republican, the senior Republican who was listening to this, Lindsey Graham, said that this was something that he very much supported. This is his statement after the meeting.
Just participated in a Zoom call with President Zelensky of Ukraine with many members of the House and the Senate. Here are the takeaways. President Zelensky and the Ukrainian people are just awesome. They're willing to fight for their freedom to the death if they have to. There are planes available by NATO nations, MiGs, that the Ukrainians can fly. President Zelensky indicated that Ukraine would be a more effective fighting force. So let's get them the planes and drones they need.
So what they're looking for is basically planes to be delivered to Ukraine, potentially from Poland or from other East European members of NATO, so that the defense can continue. The Americans themselves wouldn't be providing these, but they certainly could coordinate it and push it along. There was something else that Zelensky asked for, and it looks like it's going to happen, which is a $10 billion aid package, which would involve all kinds of things, weapons, but also humanitarian aid.
Sasha, on the opposite end of this story, we're seeing reports that Vladimir Putin had a secret meeting in Moscow with Israel's prime minister. What do you know of that?
That's a very intriguing development. Naftali Bennett, who is the prime minister of Israel, is an observant Jew who would not normally get on a plane on Shabbat morning and secretly fly to Moscow for a 3-hour meeting with Vladimir Putin. Apparently, he had the blessing of the Americans. Of course, Israel is a close American ally. He also had the blessing of Zelensky. So there seems to be some kind of negotiations that he's trying to initiate with the Russians. Israel does have close relations with Russia, although it has also condemned this invasion. So it looks like there's something that's going on here, especially since right after this meeting with Putin, he got on a plane and he is headed for Berlin, where he's going to be discussing all of this with not only the Germans, but also the French. So there's an effort here to get somebody negotiating between the different sides, and Naftali Bennett may well be one of the people who could be involved.
CBC News senior correspondent Sasha Petrusik in Toronto. Thank you, Sasha.